Hello guys, and welcome to my new base design, the Scald. This base features a tight compact compound, an efficient starter unit, a semi-open core, an early game shooting floor, and finally a defendable roof with tons of respawns. Hello guys, my name is Nine and welcome back to another video. If you guys are new around here, leaving a like and subscribing would greatly help everything that I'm doing. And at this point, you guys want to see the cost and the upkeep of the base, so on screen now are those numbers. Alright guys, without further ado, let's get into the build. Alrighty guys, starting at one of their two externals, our doors go like this. We have two externals here, each are going to be 1000 stone and 770 metal fragments. They're basic disconnectables, as you can kind of see here, placing this foundation, and then a twig, adding this roof. Obviously it comes off. Externals are used if your main TC is broken. You can disconnect your externals and then replace your main TC. Running over to this side instead is where we have our main entrance. One is obviously on the other side and one is here. Coming into the interior here, excuse the doors bugging out, we have some patricos into compound. Very nice peaks. The lag here. On either side of here we have a little bit of a funnel with these shotgun traps and these furnaces, along with auto turrets above on either side. This works as in like this. The furnace leaves a little gap here that they're forced to peek the shotgun trap just like this. And that's obviously very nice and effective. Using these low walls here, we can also block off more to actually make this more of a funnel, as we kind of did over here too. We can put shotgun traps on these too, but they're not as effective. These sides are better. Over here we have our bedroom module and battery module. This is where our two main batteries are on the base. It's obviously mirrored on the other side of the base. So here we have a battery, lockers, beds, and all closed off by a garage door, so it's all good. More auto turrets go above, and then continuing around through our compound to our main entrance into base. We'll be looking at this side. One ramp gives us this double door or single door entrance. Using an airlock here, obviously a little bit of visibility. This is just meant to be an early game and your just normal access to the starter and everything else. This floor is an expansion of the starter unit, so more boxes, furnaces, utility space, put it whatever here that you want, mixing tables, it all works. Up is to our little open core, down is to our starter unit. So down here we have furnaces, obviously, very basic 2x1 starter. Main upkeep is here at 8.6k metal frags and 10.8k stone. Obviously you get 1 day on TC at least. Good amount of box space. You can mess with these loot rooms however you'd like. This is how I like to do it. Now there is no bunker on the space, you may notice. That is because the door path is expensive enough where it doesn't need it. It's the same cost even if I added a bunker here, so there's no real point to having it. Jumping to the next level is our mini open core. It's more of a roam room is what it is probably more properly called. Each loot room has 6 boxes. You can fit 8 if you'd like by adding some in the middles right here, but for the sake of convenience, this is how we're doing it. Obviously vending machines are tier 3 workbench. There's room for beds, bags, everything else throughout the space, more furnace space. Onto our little bit of our early game shooting floor. This gives us peeks into compound, and utilizing a building skin, it gives us even better peeks, but obviously without, it still has peeks. Along with these guys, which are nice little head glitches. They're great for peeking people a little bit further as well. The little mountain roof type peak also gives beautiful angles right into those other spots right here. Behind the furnaces, around the furnaces, all the sides. Has far peaks, kind of everything. And then the single door takes us up to a bedroom module. Jumping up here, we also have a fob / mountain peak if there's a mountain out that window. Obviously 2 bedrooms, 1 on each side. They're partitioned off. They also have little roof peaks. Ignore the lights kind of taking away that peak right now. That's obviously cosmetic. And just more windows and everything to kind of see onto the shooting floor, so you know what you're dealing with. Obviously same on this side. And jumping up to the roof, you now see how this guy is. We have some low wall peaks. Or rather not low wall, but embrasure peaks. A nice little ramp peak. I especially love this one for people. Another bedroom up on a roof that has peaks if needed. We have this module here that houses our auto turrets. These auto turrets literally see every point of roof. There's no blind spots from these turrets, which is actually beautiful. I love it. Makes them super effective at any point in the game. Utilizing a building skin yet again here gives us more peaks onto compound. along with these more mountain roof type peaks for a little further away, peeking to our gatehouse, or rather our external, and that is about it. The last thing to note is that the windmill placement just goes right on top of these guys. I just leave them off as it looks better cosmetically. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave a comment in the comment section down below or join the Discord. The link is always in the description. And without further ado, let's get into a build. Alrighty guys, I know some people like to see the footprint beforehand, so here it is. Right here is our entire starter module like this. TC, loot room, tier 2 in this space, single door airlock, and then our jump up to the next level. Above these squares are our open core, our semi-open core loot rooms, our wide gaps, and then our early game shooting floor module with our gatehouses, our bedrooms, battery modules, and then obviously our externals. Alright guys, so be aware I do use a little bit of build grade in this video, and other than that, we'll try to keep it as simple as possible. Starting off with a very basic starter, I'm going to switch out of this brick skin just so it's not annoying for you guys that aren't on this. I'm going to make our starter unit a triangle and a square like this. Not your typical 2x1, as I'd like to do it a little differently. And we'll go like this. You can either window this off, single door this off, or wall it off. Or door it off, rather. But for now, let's get a double door in this section and use this as an early game start. Very early game, I'll place a temporary workbench, furnace, and then some bags. Now this is a very cheap module to get up and going, so we can obviously expand very quickly from here. So what we're going to do is come outside, place a square, 2 triangles, walling this section in, placing a single door here with our basic airlock, sealing this guy in, adding a shelf in here. Now I'll add my boxes, my single doors, make sure they rotate like this. I don't want to bore with you guys with too much box placement, but I will do a little bit just for the initial. Remove this double door whenever, or leave it like this to create another airlock. At this point, I will then move this stuff out into the next tile, as it becomes annoying to have it there because now we want to have a loot room in this tile. So to do that, we're going to come outside, place 2 triangles, just continue our footprint, and add a shelf from the outside like this, adding a shelf here, and then placing one on the inside. Now you can use ramps whatever you want in this loot room. Excuse me, this shouldn't be a triangle, this should be a square. And I'll usually remove this double door temporarily so I can get as many boxes as possible. Do whatever you want with this loot room, there's a million ways to do it. But for now, what I'll do is I'll come in here, upgrade this to high qual, this to sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal, and then a garage door on the slot. So this is probably one of the most inefficient ways to do this loot room right now, but it's going to be a nice, quick, and easy way for us to do it right now. 4 boxes, TC, good enough to me. And obviously put your bags in here before we continue our expansion. If you don't mess up bag placement like me, you'll easily be able to get 3 bags here and a 4th there. Continuing the expansion. 2 walls, double door frame. I like to use 3 furnaces here. Continue the jump in. I like to have a shelf above here. And continuing it like this. Garage doors in every slot. If you can, I usually like to do 2 double doors right here for the sake of an airlock at this point in the game. This way now, we're going to jump down here. Triangle, 2 walls, honeycomb for our loot room compartment, followed by a twig triangle like this. And I'll usually just put like a half wall or something like this as a temporary jump up. You can also do a ramp like this. It's all temporary, as once this foundation is destroyed, it'll literally go away. So we usually just do a temporary ramp just like this. We'll continue building base. Jumping down to the other side, it's honeycomb this before honeycombing the entire base. Square, triangle, square. There you just honeycomb it all in. Excuse my wall for not placing. I'd come to the top now and sheet metal everything and high qual this spot and this spot if you have the extra.
square, triangle. Again, square. If this isn't placing, it's because of this. Walling this guy in. Coming here. Single door entrance. You can window this off if you have a glass window, or you can use whatever you want there instead. One of these becomes a loot room. One I personally like to have as a furnace room. Jump up to the next level. I still like to use furnaces. And I try to use glass windows wherever I can, as I don't want to use too many garage doors, as they do add up a lot on the cost. Same with this spot. I'll usually remove one of these double doors, or both of them, at this point, as I can jump to this next level and move my double door to this exact spot. And just for the sake of symmetry, I'm going to wall in this section right here and add double door, or not add double doors, but add furnaces. This is what the base looks like at this point. Pretty straightforward. We have one temporary foundation here, but we're going to remove that in just a second. Next is the open core, but to do that, I have to remove this foundation temporarily. Turn on symmetry. What symmetry is going to do is it's going to build on both sides of the base at the exact same time. So by placing these walls here, places them over there. In each of these loot rooms, you want to add a shelf in the middle, like this, and then wall it in. I'm obviously flying to make it much easier, but you'll have to do this on the ground. Honeycomb this guy in and seal it off. Come to these guys and seal them off like this. Shelves in the middle. Low ramp, triangle, low ramp, triangle. Seal off this entire room. I'll usually double door this part. And then sheet metal the entirety of this. Okay. Next section. Off of this double door here, what we're going to build a twig. It's going to be a square, triangle, a square, and a triangle. Excuse me. What we want is a square off of here. I don't want to mess with you guys when I show the process, so I do apologize for doing it a little differently. Off of this square, triangle, square, triangle, triangle, two more triangles, square, and you can build back to base. It's a little bit of a weird build up, but I want to show that there's multiple ways of kind of getting it, so just make sure you do it like this. This is the end product you're looking for. Offset, both sides. These foundations right here are not needed, but for now we're going to leave them as it just connects everything. But to make sure this doesn't decay, we're going to upgrade this to stone, 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 stone. Apologies for making a brick. Now what we'll do is we'll make our gatehouse. Let me just fix that. There we go. I'll use sheet metal this guy. And upgrade these two. Adding frames on all these to stop this from decaying. And then adding our gatehouse module, which is obviously very basic and looks just like this. Braziers. Boxes for the peaks. Now building this guy up, I'll usually sheet metal these guys right away. And then sheet metal these guys right away. This is just me upgrading it to the final form of what this will be. So you don't have to do that right away, but personal preference, I always like to do it. Sheet metal this guy if possible. Half walls all the way around. And I'll place a roof here. If you have a building skin, make sure to upgrade it to some sort of building skin, as it will make it so this peak right here is even better. I like to sheet metal these to discourage raiders from soft siding, rather grubs. Two small boxes here, fall bay and braziers. They're interior like this. Same with these guys, interior as well. Then one on the exterior like this. Now coming to this room and sealing it off. Single frame doorway. Put a door in here. Rotate it the way I have it. It'll make sense later, but This is towards the interior of the base. Also, I like to sheet metal this guy. Doesn't really matter right now, but it'll be nice later. Followed by a double door here. Half wall on each side, followed by a window on each side. The respected embrasures before walling these guys in like this. And them getting their respected embrasures as well. Just like that. This is almost our entire roof done. These are our roof bedrooms here, so now we're going to make those real quick. Very, very basic. Locker, bed. Locker, bed. Obviously door and roof. And door on each of these to partition them off. So no funny business happens. Yet again, sheet metal your entire roof. Just like that. And we'll make one more peak on roof before we go make the externals. Double door frame, square, half wall or low wall. Seal this guy in. Windows, and yet again, another bedroom. This has a lot of bedrooms. Really like that. Just like that. This is also now where we can put our windmills at any point. We'll do them literally right now, because why not? I like to show this part before because I like to cook with electric furnaces very early now, so this becomes very useful. Okay. Next, we're going to add our 2 externals. Come out 3 triangles, 3 squares, triangle, triangles back to base, square, triangle, triangle. Now we're going to place a triangle, triangle. Now we're going to remove these 3, or rather leave these 3 triangles as twig. I suggest literally removing them so you don't mess up though. Once you know that this build out is correct, like this. And make our external. One more triangle, followed by a triangle, 3 squares. And this is our external. I'll try not to bore you with the theatrics on our external, as it is very basic nowadays. Personally now, I'm using window frames on these interiors to save on gears. But if you don't really care for, windows, use a garage door instead like this. Come to this interior, sheet metal. And then make our connection back to base, like that. Followed by our module again. Our embrasures. And I'll even add our turret pod modules on top. I'll also do that on these guys too. Now we're going to place our compound before adding these little modules off here, before we place these triangles. So let's place our compound first. Alt look to your side to make up the gap. Obviously this is a big gap, so I've done it very wrong. Alt look. Practice this on a server if you can beforehand. It comes in very handy. Not bad, but I will redo this one more time. Rather twice. There we go. Looks pretty darn good. We'll add our barricades on top. Oop. Of course, I accidentally break something. Not bad. Now for this module, what we're going to do is we're going to add a triangle. We're going to have a temporary half wall with a low wall on top, stone this low wall, and then put a low wall on the bottom. You can also just do a window off of here, but I prefer this as it gives the turret a little more angle. Just like that. And we break those foundations underneath so they're floating. Then we put our 3 triangles back to base. As you can see, this foundation is no longer replaceable. So in a raid, if these are gone, there's no easy way to replace them. So you just seal the walls anyways. Stoning these guys. Coming over to here, we can also add these, which are little funnel type modules. And I'll quickly add our large furnaces. Just place them basically from where I'm standing right now. And it's perfect. It is a pretty easy large furnace placement. Gives the gap here, which you want to funnel. And it stops them from coming through on the other side. Shotgun traps obviously go here. Along with our auto turret pods. Just like these. Perfect. And then these I won't even cover up for now. They don't even really matter as much. All right. Next thing I'm gonna note, one triangle like this towards base. Just so you have a nice, easy way into your starter. Pose from that twig piece we had below. And now we can build up the sheet floor. I'll already do this entirely out of sheet metal. 3 high, triangle, triangle, triangle floor frame. Switching back to stone. Add the embrasures like this. These can get sheet metal. A triangle in this portion right here. Along with your ramps. Remember, if you have the building skin, this peak gets better. And another thing to note is if you don't have the building skin, you can still shoot through this. As you can see, shoots straight through the skin anyways. Okay. Getting off a brick. 3 more roof triangle modules. Auto turrets that go right here. Followed by sealing this section in. Technically this is all you need, but I like to add half walls in here because it fully honeycombs everything below. And we get triangle roof pieces off of these guys. Whatever improper braziers we need on these guys. Obviously the base is taking a lot of its form right now. As sheet metal, we build 3 high. 1 floor triangle like this. Floor frame right there. To give that peak. 3 high. And double floor frame. Just gives more of a head glitch here, as you can tell. Same with this guy, giving more of a head glitch. Okay, next time we go is into our open core. For the box placement, it's pretty easy. 2 boxes, bottom. You can place either 3 or 2 on each of these other loot rooms. This is more personal preference. If you don't mind it being a little more annoying to reach them, you can obviously easily get the placement. There we go. Fit even more boxes in here. And I'll speedrun this side. And of course. Beautiful. 1, 2. Sometimes a triangle here helps. Now toggling off symmetry. I'll usually add garage doors throughout this entire section. Why not? I'll usually add an embrasure right here as it's technically a weak point, along with sheet metal in these walls. On this section here, I'll add 2 vending machines. This is usually for my med resources and or crafting resources, to then go right in front of the tier 3. Like this. Sheet metal this as well. And it's pretty easy to get this placement. But you have room to open these guys. And obviously you can window them off if you don't want to hear them. Now we're going to start going along with upgrades. So basically, these honeycomb pieces on the outside that are rather exposed to the outside get sheet metal high qual down to here. And I'm just gonna kind of just do a walkthrough of just kind of everything gets sheet metal. Apologies for not placing those boxes before. But the general rule of thumb is everything on this floor and the floor below gets sheet metal. This wall can be HQM'd. Sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal. Technically, it'd be nice to HQ on this wall along with these roofing tiles, but it's not super necessary. What is necessary though is coming into here. Sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal, sheet metal. If you can, come back in here, reach this one, high qual, back of this guy, high qual, sheet metal. Everything in here is pretty darn good. Obviously, door on this guy. Upgrade your foundations, don't forget about them. High qual this wall. Now if you have extra resources, I'm not just sheet metaling everything you can. And that about does it for this part. Now exterior wise, we come to the outside. These honeycomb pieces, sheet metal everything all the way up. Same with these guys. These corner pieces are great to do it. And then along with, once you do have the resources, sheet metal these walls first. This will give you the most brute force raid cost. And then after that, the next thing I do is just sheet metal every peak and everything else. But for now, that is about it. All right, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comment section down below. Yeah, if you have any ideas or anything else of that matter, join my Discord. The link is always in the description and we can talk there. All right, guys, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next build.